Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining us at this session titled Green Hydrogen Developments in India, an Industry Showcase. My name is Nishant Balashanmugam, and I'm the Director for the Green Hydrogen Organization in India. Today, we have quite a diverse set of industry experts who will talk about what's going on in India. And before we begin, I want to welcome my panel on stage. If I can begin by inviting Mr. Sanjay Sharma, who is the Director at the Solar Energy Corporation of India. A round of applause, please. Prabhat Mishra, who's the Chief Business Development Officer for Renew. Harish Jairam, who's the Vice President for Business Development at Hygenco. And finally, Arnav Astina, who's the Vice President for Business Development at AM Green. So before we begin the panel discussion, we have a presentation from Mr. Sanjay Sharma. And for those of you who don't know, he's the man responsible, him and his team are responsible for the world's largest green ammonia tender that is going to come online. So without any ado, sir, if we can begin with you and your presentation, we'll have the panel discussion soon after. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all the respected delegates, my fellow panelists. It's my pleasure to speak in front of you and to showcase what India is doing and how we are making our tendering process so fast, because it has been a request from the European friends from hydrogen space that our European Union is taking too much time in concluding the tenders. We discussed that we have already showcased that after the submission of the bid, we have concluded many tenders within 2 weeks and award has been placed. So they requested me just to showcase what is your process and how European Union can be educated so that they can be fast also, agile also, because the need of the hour is to go fast. So let me start. The brief overview of SECI and its tendering process. You know that India in RE sector is moving very fast. So right now the capacity, installed capacity in RE space is 201 gigawatt, wherein approximately 47 gigawatt has been in the wind sector, 46 gigawatt is already commissioned in the big hydro sector, 5 gigawatt small hydro sector, then 90 plus gigawatt in solar space. So RE sector in India, if you see, it is going very fast. We have added approximately 35 times solar capacity in last 10 years. Hydropower is already doubled in last 10 years. And the other capacities, we are moving very fast. And right now, based on the targets given by the ministry, we are tendering out 50 gigawatt per annum RE capacities, which are to be commissioned before 2030. So our Honorable PM's target has been given 500 gigawatt to be commissioned by 2030. So we are inching towards that. And thanks to the developers, they are also cooperating with us. And they are moving very fast, and we are here to solve their problems. Whatever problems they are facing, we are here to solve that. So about my company, SECI, that is a Navratna company. It was incorporated in 2011, and it is the fastest company in India which has been awarded a Navratna status, which is a very prestigious status. one of the company in CPSU which has been awarded Navratna status after us, which is NHPC, National Hydroelectric Corporation, that took 49 years and we could achieve in 9 years only. So that is the SECI's strength. And now what SECI is doing? SECI is the basically implementing arm of our ministry, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. They are devising the guidelines, we are implementing that. Our model is like this. We award the contracts to the developers, they develop their projects at their own money. We give them the assured buying power, whatever they are generating, at a predetermined tariff, which has been discovered through our tendering process. At the same time, we are selling back-to-back that power to state discoms. So there is a de-link kind of a thing between producer, generator, and off-taker. So what this model has been envisaged by the government of India, that is a wonderful model. Bidders need not to go for payments for to the discoms, which may delay it. However, being intermediary procurer, we guarantee the payment to the developer on time. And it is my pleasure to tell you that since its inception in 2011, we have not defaulted a single payment for a single day to any developer. So our trust has been created, and that is why Government of India has thought that green hydrogen mission is to be implemented by SECI only. So let me, because of the paucity of time, I should come directly to what is our tendering process. This slide, you can see what is the growth of SECI. In 2014-15, it was just starting. And now 2024, we have already awarded approximately 71 gigawatt of RE capacity, for which approximately 55 gigawatt off-takers have already been tied up for 25 years. Apart from that, 23 gigawatt plus capacity have already been commissioned by SECI through their developers. So this is the strength of SECI. Now, green hydrogen capacity SECI tenders, we have already awarded approximately 412,000 metric ton per annum production of green hydrogen. A tender of 450,000 metric ton per annum production capacity, that is on live, and it will be bid submission date right now is 21, maybe means day after tomorrow, and it will be concluded. We have instructed to our SECI team, it will be concluded in 20 days, within 20 days. So let us see what we can do or not. Then we have already awarded 2 trenches of electrolyzer manufacturing, which is 1.5 gigawatt each. Apart from that, we have came out with the world's biggest tender of 739,000 megawatt, 739,000 metric ton per annum production of green ammonia. And the best part is, we have also tied up with the off-takers. Those are the fertilizer industries in India. And the best part is, this tender is for 10 years. Right now, it was very difficult to convince them that it is 10 years will be a small time as compared to what they are buying gray ammonia from the international market, and the contract timeline is 1 to 2 years only. So that was the biggest challenge we were facing. And right now, I think this 10 years will be okay for them, and we are just dealing with 1 or 2 issues. Once those issues are settled, we will get the bidding tendering process completed within a period of, say, next 2 months or so. We expect that. Regarding that, what type of tenders SECI is handling, right now we are in the RE space we are doing. So solar PV power projects we are dealing, wind power projects, then offshore wind power projects. One of the projects has already been launched, and the tendering is underway. Then solar wind hybrid projects we are also dealing. Round the clock supply of RE, through RE only, we are dealing. we have already awarded. Then round the clock supply from this FDRE tender, which I will discuss it in the next slide, which is a world's one of the most innovative tender. Then battery energy storage system we have awarded. Green ammonia production supply, this we are dealing. Firm and dispatchable power. This is the most innovative tender we have devised. It is basically designed to make the load requirement of off-taker. Means to say, in a particular year, if somebody wants that in January month, say 7 to 8 p.m., I want 1500 megawatt power, that will be supplied. And in lean season, maybe in the rainy season, if the developer, if the off-taker is saying that I require only 500 to 600 megawatt power from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., that will also be met. So our developer has designed this system like this, and if they are not meeting that assured power, they are paying penalties, and penalties are 1.5 times the tariff discovered. One tender we have carried out and for Punjab state. So the tariff discovered was approximately 7 cents, euro cents. And that euro cents, 7 euro cents was fixed for 25 years without any escalation and without any further payment to the developers. They have to supply on time, and if they are not supplying, then penalties will be imposed. But finally, that Punjab is still registering, and they are saying that tariff is slightly higher. So we have to change that. And now we are doing for Delhi also, the same type of tender, and tariff discovered is 6 cents, less than 6 cents. So we are hopeful that the PPA will be signed very soon. What we are doing in our bidding process. So bidding demand can be generated from anywhere. Maybe it is the directive from the ministry that you come out with the tender, or maybe that is maybe demand from the off-takers that you come out with the tender. We want solar, this much megawatt, we can come out with the tender. We are also dealing with the rooftop tenders, wherein Government of India has mandated that all the government buildings and other buildings should be necessarily put in rooftop solar so that they can replace the burden of the DISCOMs. So all type of tenders we are dealing. Our bidding process is like this. Initially, we float the, based on the requirement from the developers or from the off-takers or the demand collated by our tendering department, we give them they take approval for the release of the NIT. Initially, once we receive the demand, then if it is coming out from the off-taker, then they require certain special conditions that maybe we require this power after, say, 18 months or, say, 25 months. What is the quantum of power? What is the requirement as per their, whether it is a assured peak power kind of a thing or not. So those conditions we put in the tendering document, and we initially judge based on our analysis what should be the approximate tariff. So we normally give them that this will be the approximate tariff, and if you say based on your condition, then only we'll come out with the tender, so that the tendering process should not go null and void. Developers, the scope of developer is land identification and preparation then plant ownership BO mode hai, then meeting performance criteria O&M of the plant. These are the responsibilities of the developer. Procurer's responsibility is within the guideline they have to pay in time. That is the only way. Bidding parameter, it is basically if it is coming out from the scheme guidelines, then the tariff is the only way. So based on the lowest tariff, we decide the developer who has won. PPAs are to be signed for 25 years. All charges and losses until the delivery point is to be borne by the producer or generator. Minimum project size is 50 megawatt. Maximum project capacity to be allocated to a single bidder is the 50% of what is the bidding capacity. Means if you are coming out with a bid of 1,000 megawatt, 500 megawatt one bidder can only take, not more than that. Then this procurement process.
We're running out of time.
Okay. Okay. So time is the constraint, yes. So I should rush out. This is basically the slide showing that what is the timeline internally we have devised, then it should be completed in how much time. Then qualifying requirements, if it is a standard one coming out from the guidelines, then it is standard. There is no need of any QR committee, and that can be directly put by the contract department in the bidding document, and then that will be approved. Let me skip. Basically, what we are getting in qualifying requirement for the scheme-based project, net worth of the company, whosoever is bidding, then liquidity criteria, earnest money deposited, and the performance bank guarantee. These are the basic things we are asking from the developer. Procurement planning slide. Actually, what I will do, I will leave this slide. Whosoever wants, then he can take. Okay. So.
We'll make sure this slide is shared with everyone here. That this is a very detailed presentation on how the tendering process happens in the entire renewable energy sector in India. But this organization is also, so can I invite you?
Just last few seconds. Because of this fast and transparent tendering process, we could conclude the bidding process in 11 days. The last date of bid submission was 19 to 2019. Reverse auction took place on 1st of March, and the award was placed to the developer for going ahead with the project on 2nd March. So this 11 days we could conclude the tender. These we have demonstrated. Another tender, just we want to show, last date of bid submission was 20th June. Reverse auction took place on 30th June, means within 8 days. And date of award was 15/7 because that has to be cleared by the board. So thank you very much. I will be here only. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. A round of applause, please. I think what SECI has done also signifies what India has achieved in its renewable energy power. That's a good segue into green hydrogen. And if I don't know how many of you all here are aware of India's national green hydrogen mission. Can I have a show of hands? Okay, for those of you who don't know, if I could have the other slide, please. For those of you who don't know, India launched its green hydrogen mission in 2023 and set a target of 5 million metric tons. But in the next 12 months, what happened is the industry, in announced projects, they had about 7.6 million tons of announced project capacities. But why did this happen? And SECI is one reason. India's renewable power landscape, that is very unique. It has one of the most consistent solar profiles in the world. I would not say it's the cheapest, power for solar in the world, but it has one of the most consistent solar profiles. There's abundant land and there's skilled manpower, and I'm sure some of my panelists will highlight why all of these factors make India a great destination for green hydrogen. This is one of my previous slides, but over here you see some of the reasons why. And I think if you look at the third point, the entire ecosystem is being built in India now, right? If you're looking for an option outside China, it has to be India. India has the potential to multiply in gigawatts. And some of my panelists here, between the 3 panelists I have here, that's close to 16 million metric tons of green ammonia by 2030. And they represent only half of the industry in India. The other thing is the strong and affordable research and development capacities that exist in the country. And from ThyssenKrupp Nucera to Plug to Linde, some of these companies that do not have many Indian projects, they have large teams in India that are supporting their global projects. But there are other statistics here, but what you really need to note is that India is now at 211 gigawatts of renewable energy power, going up to 500 gigawatts by 2030. And it's the project developers who are sitting here that make it happen, and organizations like SECI that facilitate that. India's grid is at 450 gigawatts of capacity today. It's going up to 900 gigawatts by 2030. With that, I want to open questions to the panel. Maybe starting with Arnava. Arnava, to my far right, he's from AM Green, and they're going to have one of India and the region's largest ammonia facilities coming online very soon, and they've been very successful in their offtake conversations as well. And they're a big sign of what's due to come from India in the coming years. But Arnava, if you could, have say a few lines about what you guys are doing as AM Green, but also, highlight why India is the place to be for green ammonia and green hydrogen.
Thank you, Nish, and very happy to be here. Good afternoon, everyone. Good question. So what AM Green as a platform, what we are doing is we firmly believe that the market for green hydrogen and its derivatives is there, and Europe is one of the best markets that one could have, and that's why we have our plan is to put up 4 million tons of green ammonia over the next 5 years, and we have labeled our product as RFNBO ammonia, and to that extent we have got a pre-certification, RFNBO pre-certification done for our first plant, which is done by Certify, the Initio BV consortium. So we are quite armed to the teeth in terms of being able to cater to the RFNBO requirements, including all the bells and whistles of the criteria such as additionality, temporality, geographical correlation, as well as the final, the holy grail, which is the carbon emissions to be less than 70% on the entire value chain of that product. And we are quite confident, as was demonstrated through the certification scheme, that we could meet that. So in terms of where we are today, we have done the FID for the first million-ton green ammonia project, which is coming up in Southeast Indian coastal town of Kakinada. It's a deepwater port town, and is a very good example of where we can set up an ammonia plant and have it ready for export to Europe and other places in the world. So it's an interesting concept, because one of the things that we wanted to do was actually to expedite the process of being able to come up with the plant, and we did that by first acquiring an old brownfield gray urea plant. So what we are doing is, in that urea plant, we are discarding the urea part, we are discarding the SMR production of hydrogen, and we are replacing that with renewable hydrogen through our electrolyzers and renewable energy. The electrolyzer is actually a very much a Europe-India collaboration effort, because we have got a joint venture with none other than John Cockerell, very much a Belgian product, with whom we are setting up a 2 gigawatt electrolyzer factory in India, through which we are coming to the manufacturing, and which will be then supplied to this plant for green ammonia production. On the offtake side, of course, we are in touch with the rest of the world as well. We are looking at Far East Asia. We are also looking at domestic consumption within India, but our primary market remains Europe, and to that extent we've had quite a bit of success. We have already signed up offtake agreements with Uniper and Yara, and we are in discussions with quite a few, where we, of course, will start with green ammonia, but we are also looking at the other parts of the value chain, for example, the green chemicals, for which we have an MOU signed up with BASF recently, and so on. I think the future looks good. What now needs, from our point of view, is for the ecosystem to come together and create that win-win situation for both. Thank you.
Thanks, Arnava. I want to move to my colleague sitting right next to me, Prabhat. Prabhat, you're from Renew, and Renew already operates 16 gigawatts of renewable energy capacities. And tell us a little bit about what plans you have going up to 2030 in terms of building that ecosystem, And how is that going to support your green hydrogen ambitions as well?
Sure, thanks, Nishant. Renew, just for those of you don't know much about Renew. Renew is a company which was founded 13 years ago. In last 13 years, we have been deploying and developing green energy assets, mostly wind, solar, a little bit of hydro. A lot of storage deployment is happening. And we have created a portfolio of almost 16.5 gigawatt as we speak. And close to 11 gigawatt is already operational out of them, and remaining is under construction. We hope to complete the remaining 5-6 gigawatt also in next 18 months' time. Apart from that, we have also done some backward integration by getting into solar module manufacturing to secure our supplies and have more control on supply chain. So we have a 6.4 gigawatt of solar module manufacturing plant in India in 2 places. We are also further integrating backwards in getting into cell manufacturing. So we have a 2.5 gigawatt of solar cell manufacturing plant as well in India. We have been largely owned by financial institutions globally. We have had investors like Goldman Sachs from US, pension funds from Canada, CPPIB, sovereign wealth funds from Middle East, ADIA, large utilities from Japan, JERA, trading firms like Mitsui, investors from Malaysia, Petronas. So we have been continuously partnering with such firms, and they have been owning us. Now we are listed in NASDAQ. So a lot of public investment is also in the company. We have been developing green fuel projects, utilizing our capabilities of integrating wind, solar, hydro, storage, as well as leveraging the vibrant power market which India has to create the most optimal mix of RE power supply for an optimal electrolyzer sizing, for the best optimal operation of ammonia, so that we can achieve one of the lowest cost of ammonia for Indian requirement as well as for global requirements. And today we have multiple projects under development in India and outside of India. We are developing 2 projects in the state of Odisha, which are more advanced than others. One is more focused on green ammonia as a product produce, scalable up to 1 million ton, but the first phase is for 300,000 tons. We're hoping to go live by early 2028. There's also a green methanol project which is under construction in the same state with a capacity of 275,000 tons per annum. Again, supported by biogenic source of carbon to meet the compliance requirement of RFNBO. We have been, of course, like all other colleagues of mine, talking to various demand pockets and demand centers, and Europe remains our one of the largest hope where demand could develop much faster than others, especially for green fuel. And in next 6 to 8 months, at least, there is a significant hope from all of us, including our counterparts in Europe, that the demand signals will start reflecting and becoming more concrete, which will help buyers to get into more concrete agreements. We, from the supply side, are getting almost completely geared up to meet the demand. India being a country, and a lot of the positives Nishant already covered, I think fortunately we are endowed with very good feedstock for this entire green fuel economy. We have wind and solar resource richness, which is available by virtue of our land base. And apart from that, which is, I think we should, sometimes we do not acknowledge that much, the infrastructure available in India from multiple different dimensions is significantly strong. One is the grid infrastructure for transmission of electrons from one place to other. That is something which is unparalleled, I would say. Globally, we have seen almost all geographies, and any other geographies doesn't have this strong grid infrastructure where we can get connectivity, we can supply energy from one place to other place without getting much of hiccups. Apart from grid infrastructure, there are very strong port infrastructure which is developed in India by virtue of a very strong long coastline we have, and which also includes ammonia handling capacity at volume, because as a country we are dependent of ammonia for our fertilizer production, and which is also significant. The other dimension of infrastructure is a very vibrant power market, where you can actually sell your surplus power, and for renewable it becomes very important. If you have surplus power, you can go to market for selling, and when we have some deficit for our own project, for some reason, there is an avenue from where you can actually get green power. So all of this supported by a very strong, skilled human resource available in the country. We have been supporting global deployment of oil and gas from our engineering capabilities, which are based in India for most of the large organizations. And that is something which is easily available and readily available to support a fast scale-up. I think all of that puts up into a very good space, and we are hopeful that in the next 6 to 12 months we'll have multiple FIDs coming, not only for us, also for other companies from India. So we're very hopeful and positive about the future.
That was a very generous note. You've brought everyone else into the picture, but this is exactly what's happening in the country. We have two big projects that have reached FID, and trust me, the rest of them, they have no problems raising money because they all have large balance sheets. And I know Mr. Sharma has to leave very soon. I want to take questions from the audience before we continue the next 10 more minutes. Anyone has any questions for Mr. Sharma on how he's managed to put across the world's largest ammonia tender? Anything about India's power market? Okay, I'll give him the questions then. But Mr. Sharma, you heard Prabhat also touched upon it, the flexibility in India's power system, right? This whole one grid in India, if I'm coming from outside the country, how would you best explain this to me, right? What are the advantages of having this large grid, and what advantages do you see as SECI in operating this? Have your mic there.
Hello. So I am proud to say that our Indian grid is one of the world's biggest grid, which is integrated. We have one nation, one grid, one frequency right now. So there is no congestion. So any electron injected from anywhere can be withdrawn anywhere from the grid. So that is the best part, and because of this, it is helping the RE sector to develop so fast, because RE potential, or say RE's resources are not everywhere or geographically distributed across the country. So most of the wasteland is available in Rajasthan, or west part of the India, means Rajasthan and Gujarat, from where the solar power can be generated, and it can be transported to or transmitted to eastern part of India, or say southern part of India, which is approximately 2,000 plus kilometers from generating plant. So because of this single largest grid, we are able to supply, and we are able to get the cheapest power where the resources are available. Regarding these challenges, what we are having, right now, the challenge for RE sector is the evacuation system is to be prepared. Though we have plans, but that plan has to be executed on ground. So that initially the transmission system planning to completion takes 4 years, but right now everybody has become agile, and now we are able to complete the transmission system and evacuation system within 3 years or so. But again, the challenges are coming. The RE capacity is coming up very, very fast. Earlier, the grid was able to take evacuation for so many projects, but now grid is also filled up. So we have to devise and plan the new systems for any new RE capacities.
So now with this surge in renewable energy, how are you balancing it? Right now, the mix is different. But how are you planning? You spoke about the FDRE tender.
Yeah.
But what have you done in the storage space?
Yeah.
That is helping address this?
So this issue, again, I think nobody has taken this thought that how we can utilize the grid fully. So India has thought out that RE projects, which are mainly solar, are in the Rajasthan region, wherein the evacuation system is being used for, say, solar hours only, maybe 6 to 8 hours. Now we are planning that within that grid, after solar hours, we will install the storage plants there, maybe batteries, and the battery will be charged from the additional solar power to be installed. And during the off solar hours, that power can be supplied through from the batteries to the grid. So that way we are meeting the peak demand also. We are utilizing the transmission and evacuation system more efficiently also. And that way we are reducing the losses and the cost of power to the customers.
So wonderful. Thank you very much. And I think it's, it's time for you, but a round of applause for Mr. Sanjay Sharma. Thank you, sir. We've also reached the end of the panel discussion, but my last speaker, Harish Jairam, he's from Hygenco. They call themselves a pure play hydrogen company, which is, unlike the rest of the players in India. But Harish, in addition to what Hygenco is doing, but if you could also touch upon India's ammonia and green hydrogen market.
Absolutely. So thanks, Anish. Hygenco is a bit different. We're not a conventional RE-IPP, right? So we are pure gases player and focused on gases, industrial processes. And then we have in-house technology which actually integrates these gases with the RE sources. So that technology is built in-house using the digital twins, AI, machine language. And we deployed 2 plants on the ground. These are green hydrogen plants. And the first plant was deployed way back in March 22. And then this year, in March, we commissioned India's first commercial plant, also green hydrogen supplying to a stainless steel industry. The learnings from these 2 plants we took in, and that's how we're able to now develop a very large-scale ammonia plant, green ammonia, which is coming up on the east coast of India, port of Gopalpur. Capacity is 1.1 MTPA, built over 3 phases starting in 27, all the way until 2030. And from here, we will be supplying our ammonia to markets globally, markets in Europe, right here, as well as markets in the Far East, Japan, Korea, Singapore. But we will also supply green ammonia to demand within India, especially around Odisha. There's lots of local demand in fertilizers, in steel refineries, where we can actually address the local demand. And what's the last question, Nish? You had a question?
The domestic market.
Yeah, so market for India, green hydrogen is about 6.57 million. And it's split roughly split half and half between refineries and ammonia. This market is growing. And this is the market we will actually tap into. And then ammonia, India consumes about 17 million tons of ammonia. And we're also importing about 3 million from outside the country. That quantum we want to replace by making ammonia, green ammonia within the country, for which we just learned about the huge tender launched by SECI. And that's happening right now. And hopefully this tender would actually replace some of the quantum which is being imported into the country with green ammonia.
Harish, thank you very much. But before we wind up, can I have that slide up, please? Last slide. So over there, you see India's market is 7 million tons. And we've already have announced capacities for 7.5. And also in that slide, you will see all the different ports that are available. Prabhat spoke about it in his intervention. But, and you'll also see different state-level policies that are there. I want to wrap this up now, but there's a lot of information on our website. And our YouTube channel has a ton of webinars and panel discussions like this. Thank you all for being a very patient audience. My panelists, thank you very much.